Yes, guys, how's it going? SpursRelated back again and doing a post-match live reaction to the West Ham game. Tottenham won, West Ham won at the London Stadium. Mixed emotions from me personally, but we will get into things. I was about to introduce our guests and co-host, but Jack Foy was so bad he decided to leave before we even started, which is incredible. But obviously we are with Holly, as you can see as well. Thanks for joining us, Holly. First of all, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, I will probably get into it, but it was a bit of a snooze fest that game, to be fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, apart from that,
Definitely.
I'm all right, thank you.
Okay, there's a lot of you guys in here. Thanks so much for joining. We are back doing the videos. Let's get Jack back. Jack actually wants to join us now. Jack, you here to stay, Jack?
I hope so. This hotel Wi-Fi probably has other ideas, but I'm trying to stay, guys. I'm trying.
Great stuff. Guys, if you do enjoy these post-match reactions, we do want to keep doing them. Smash a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, but let's get into things. Let's welcome some of the people in the chat. Ayanami saying the back line cannot progress the ball for their lives. Lenglet and Romero have to start at least as they can actually pass the ball. People will moan about creativity, but the back line won't even give the ball to our creative players. What do you guys think on this? Do you think it's the defense? Do you think it's the midfield? Let us know in the comments. Ayanami was commenting through the game on this video. I mean, what a legend. Cheers, Sanchez, Dyer, Lloris, Davies, the cat's crying. Jacob saying that was absolutely shocking. I do agree. Dave saying, hi, fellas from Leicester. That goal we conceded looked like it was Sunday morning Parks football after a night on the piss. David, I think that's a great summary, to be honest. Back to reality, says Archie. David saying, but Perisic, Bissouma and Lloris were shocking. And Carl's in here, big up Carl, saying Romero and Lenglet need to be in that back line now. There must be some miracles. It's also saying Dyer, Sanchez, Davies are awful. Not sure what that says. I don't complain, but thanks for joining, mate. Dan James will not solve our problems. They really won't. Football podcast, thanks for joining, mate. And couldn't string two passes together. Bissouma looked like winks sideways and backwards. We'll get into things. We'll get into who we thought played well, if any, and who we thought were the worst players. But a lot of you guys frustrated, imaginably and understandably so. But I will start with our guest, Holly. Just to summarize, I know you like to do your 2 to 3 minute summaries. Let us know what you thought of that absolute shocking performance. However, we didn't lose, so I guess that's a positive, right?
I think it's the only positive we could take from it. I think, obviously, if we were talking about this last season, I could see us probably losing. My only problem is that we had a lot of luck that game. Obviously, that Paqueta shot that he kind of like fluffed and missed, as in he didn't realise it was going to come to him. If that actually connected with his foot, we could be having a different conversation right now. But we are I don't know what's going on there above us, but the luck gods are with us, because I tell you what, there's only so much luck you can ride, and I think it's slowly going to dwindle out. But yeah, I don't really say anybody really had a good game, to be honest with you. It was, again, we're riding this luck like nobody's business. So yeah, that's pretty much what I can take from it.
Yeah, absolutely. And talk about luck. What about that ending? I mean, how did the ball not go in the back of the net when it went across the line? I was just expecting someone to tap it in. And honestly, my week would have been ruined by Wednesday, to be honest with you. But luckily, like you said, luck is on our side at the moment. Jack, looks like you're in crystal clear HD on that Wi-Fi now. I think you've paid for like premium Wi-Fi now.
Honestly, I've got my brother's laptop and I thought, let's give this a go. What can happen? And it seems like he's got the better Wi-Fi, so hopefully it lasts. But you know what? The Wi-Fi weren't even great for the football. I tell you what, if you come into Kefalonia in Greece, they're all Scousers. Everywhere there was Liverpool matches, I was asking them, please put on the Spurs. They weren't having it. So I went to all these bars, couldn't find any. So I went back on the hotel Wi-Fi, managed to watch the second half, no lagging. And to be honest, I was disappointed. I've been running around like a madman trying to watch the Spurs. And I don't even see our first goal because I keep lagging. And I see West Ham score probably the worst defensive mistake. I think someone in the chat summed it up perfectly. I don't know what our strategy was there, but there was no communication in the back line. And they've scored a goal that easily could have been prevented. And I just didn't see enough from Spurs today. I'm quite disappointed, to be honest. I thought, you know what, it's a London derby. West Ham are massively going to be up for it. But Spurs, with the quality we brought in, with Antonio Conte as a manager, I thought our system would be too strong for them today. But they proved us wrong. It's a point. We're still unbeaten. Let's just carry on moving forward.
Interesting. Yeah, exactly that. To be honest with you, Jack, the first goal, it was scrappy as well. It was an own goal. I thought Son had finally got his goal, but what's his name? Kerrier had nicked it off him, the centre back. So there we go. Listen, guys, let's talk about obviously Bissouma. A lot of people are mentioning him in the chat. A lot of people are very disappointed with how he played. Holly, in particular, Bissouma, for you, was he probably one of the most disappointing players for Tottenham on the pitch?
I think it's a bit hard to say, in a sense. I don't think really anybody played very well, and I think it's quite hard. But let's bear in mind he hasn't had very many minutes. He's had cameos here and there. When he's come on, he's looked brilliant. But we need to remember this was a London derby, and as much as we hate West Ham, they think it is a massive game for them. And I can imagine putting on that Spurs shirt and for the first time playing in a London derby like that. It's probably a lot of pressure for him. So I don't want to pick him up too much, because I know Twitter has absolutely destroyed him tonight, saying he's not the one, he's not this. The guy's just started the first game in a Spurs shirt. Like, ease off him a little bit. But I don't think anybody played very well, to be honest.
Yeah, writing him off already is a little bit strange, don't you think, Jack? I mean, straight away, like Holly said, all over social media, people saying, and to be honest, right, I do agree with the people saying he did play badly, because he wasn't good. But let's be honest, we've been screaming out for him for a while, haven't we?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think Bissouma, one of his key attributes is getting on the ball, finding those passes, looking comfortable, working hard off the ball defensively. And he just didn't have that tonight whenever I watched him. I also think when he got that yellow card earlier on, he was a bit more hesitant. He weren't willing to get to that ball first and break the line. So I think that stopped him from progressing in the second half. But I just feel like we've got to give him time. We've been crying out for him, James, on this channel all the time, because we think he's fantastic. He was one of the main players I wanted in the window, and I think he needs to be eased in. Even Antonio Conte said in his press conferences that he's going to need time. He's going to need time to learn the tactical system. Don't forget, we're playing with a 2 in midfield, so it's half of them. They need to work together. They need to know each other's play styles, and I feel like it's not going to come like that. So for me, you've got to keep him going. Bentancur's got concussion, so he's probably going to be out for Saturday as well. And I think playing at home against Fulham, it'd probably be an easier game for him, and hopefully get his confidence up. He just needs to keep learning, and we all know he's got the quality. So for me, it's one game. I'm not too worried, and he definitely wasn't the only one who didn't have a great game tonight.
Absolutely, yeah. There was many of them. Listen, there's 3 of us. I'm going to make it 4. Sean, Spurs Talk Show. What better addition to this panel? Sean, first of all, I'm going to hold my hands up in front of the people watching. Sorry for not sending you the link earlier, my man. But how you doing, mate?
I'm trying to sorry, 1 second, just get my light done. I'm trying to figure out whether or not, just looking on social media, whether or not Tottenham are bottom of the table or Tottenham are relegation fodder. There's meltdown everywhere. What the hell's going on? Do they expect perfection? I don't know what's happening, but we're 3rd in the league. We had arguably the hardest start to the season, or top 2 or 3 hardest starts to the season of any team. We're undefeated after 5 games. We've got 8 points more than we did against the 4 teams we played last season. Everyone just needs to calm down. It's like, what's going on?
Yeah, I totally agree.
100%. Just very quickly, Sean, obviously we've just been going around the room in terms of we talked about Bissouma. Obviously, a lot of people on his back already. We talked about how poor we were and we're riding our luck. For you, what is the most frustrating thing about that game? Because obviously, I don't think we even deserve the point. West Ham weren't great either, but my goodness, we are riding our luck. Unbeaten in 5 games, and we haven't played well probably Southampton was the only one, right?
Can you imagine how good we're going to be when we get into 3rd gear?
I like
a good team, right? Come on, let's stay positive. I thought the only thing that, first half we were much better. I liked the first half. Everyone was first half was boring, and we were just slow build up. I was no, it's patient. It was processed. It was methodical. We were just carving out triangles and then eventually getting forward. If it wasn't for yet again poor decision making in the final third in a couple of chances by Harry Kane and Sonny, and when he had that Toblerone forehead header, I don't know what he was doing there, but I thought that Tottenham dominated the first half. Second half, obviously, we just switched off. I don't know what Lloris is doing. His distribution's gone to an all-time low. But and then that kind of sloppy play the game, trying to play it out from the back and trying to draw them out.
Every time Sanchez got the ball, sorry to interrupt you, I was worried. Well, Sanchez pressing, and we had no composure. And it proves how crucial Romero is, because he's so comfortable on the ball. And I think maybe Lenglet can come into the side and help us play out from the back, because it's clear that's what Conte wants to do.
To me, it's just like if you're going to do if you're going to try and play against the high press and draw the high press on, like you don't do it if you've got the worst 3 defenders of the 5 that you have. It's a bad tactic. I think the biggest criticism tonight for me goes to Conte for not changing his. I think he didn't change anything. He didn't go to the bench at all. Does he realise that there's the new 5 sub rule exists?
Yeah. So this is what I wanted to talk about next. I'm just gonna not switch subject. Carry on with this, because SOF made a really good point. Welcome in, SOF. I know it's been a little while, mate. Thanks for joining. He's saying, where were the attack options off the bench? At least throw on Spence or Doherty, change out the wing backs. Conte played for a point. It's kind of going with what you're saying here, Sean. We have 5 subs, and our first sub was on 3 minutes in. I mean, that's too late, isn't it? What do you think, Ollie?
Yeah, he doesn't like making subs, it seems. Like you say, it was almost like, okay, they've equalised. We're away from home. Let's just try and see what we can do here. Let's try and play protective. I know at times we weren't, because like we've talked about, those silly passes from the back were driving me insane. I was like, just kick it out. Just get rid of it. I don't care. I can't be dealing with this stress. But you're right. He just doesn't like to do it. And you think to yourself, this was a game, like we spoke about the other day, for Richarlison. He would have been well up for it. And like when he came on, he did that turn and push straight on. So I don't know. I really don't know what it is with Conte. You don't like to give him criticism, because I'm not paid all this money to be the manager, but I can see what people are saying. You need to switch it up sometimes, and maybe that was the perfect time to do it.
Yeah, definitely. Sean, just quickly going back over to you on this one. Obviously, Derek's saying now he's everyone and criticising Conte. I think what you weren't saying it was, fully Conte's fault, but I guess what you're saying is the
I'm just saying
right.
There's a little bit of a share of, like, if there is blame to be handed around, but I'm someone that's not really that upset. Like, I think that West Ham away is a really difficult place to play for any team, let alone Tottenham. West Ham always raise their game. We've only dropped 4 points this season, both of them to London derbies away from home. Like everyone, I'm not upset at all. I think that, the performance wasn't great. We were sloppy in the second half. We only conceded the goal because we turned our attention off for a minute. And that's just something, you can't train that. That's just whether or not the team are paying attention. Like that wasn't a tactical naivety. That was just, I don't know what happened, that they all, like, at the same time, the team just all kind of went, just like shut down.
Yeah.
And it cost us. But ultimately, the tactics could have, you could have tried something else. I don't know. Is Lucas Moura still injured?
Yeah, he was injured.
Yeah. So that's the other thing to consider, right? Part of the reason why the bench, a lot of people, I've seen people going, that bench looks awful. The window's been disgusting. All the kind of negative naysaying is out. But I'm like, well, we've got a few injuries, right? Like the bench is going to look weaker because you've lost Bissouma from, like, you've taken Bissouma from the bench to put him in the team because Bentancur's out. Lucas Moura's out as well. Like, that's 2 of your bench that are not available on the day. We've got a few injuries. So I don't know. I'm just not as doom and gloom. I think it was glass half full. Come on, like third in the league. 100%. Third in the league after 5 games. You take that all day long, wouldn't you, before the season?
You know what it is? I think with this new mentality, with Conte in charge, with this big transfer window, all this money that's been promised, everyone's thinking now we've got to be pushing Man City, and obviously Arsenal have started the season so strongly. I think everyone's got it in their heads that
perfection
next to them. But you know what, Sean? I'm 100% in agree with you, because it's still a changing mentality. We're
3 points ahead of Liverpool. Sorry, Jack. We're 3 points ahead of Liverpool. Man City have got Haaland, who's just an absolute monster, right? So Man City are going to romp the league by, like, he's going to have like 75 goals this season. And Arsenal might be unbeaten at the moment, or max points, but they have played the very worst teams in the league. Like, that's not going to maintain. So everyone just needs to relax.
Down. Yeah, no, I agree. You know what? Like you say, the only times we drop points is against Chelsea away. How many points have we got over there in the past 30 years? West Ham away, we know it's their cup final. They always turn up. Look at today. I can never hear that crowd as loud. I've seen it today. They're always up for it, and we still managed to get through it. Like, yes, we've got to look forward. We did our best today, but I like the energy, Sean. I like the fact you've come in and showed everyone, let's calm down. We're unbeaten. And Tottenham, we're going to improve. We've got Fulham on Saturday, and this is where we've got to capitalise and get a big 3 points, big win. You've
got to find pockets of the community where there's positivity, mate, because tomorrow, if we don't sign somebody, like, it doesn't matter what channel you turn on, there's going to be like doom and gloom and like people with like, I don't know, scissors out, razor blades for them. It's going to be weird.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
Just try and everyone needs to stay on an even kill tomorrow because it's going to be crazy.
Let's move on to talking point about. Well, Josh is saying a point is a point. Exactly, the positivity's come in. Look, it was a good result. That's what I mean.
Come on, guys.
It's a bit positive now. I like this. Man City have been given a robot from the planet Zero. I mean, that guy, by the way, Jack, I did say he'd score another hat-trick. I mean, the guy is absolutely ridiculous. He is absolutely ridiculous.
I haven't even got him in my fantasy team. I've had a shocker, just so everyone knows how heartbroken I am.
Yeah,
it's terrible. Like the transition. He's just absolutely torn it up. He's an animal.
Who have you got in your fantasy team instead of Haaland?
I've got Kane and Jesus.
I knew it. You're a nightmare.
Last year, I was on absolute fire. I finished second at about 50 in a mini league. This year, I'm having a shocker. We're not even talking about it. But, greatness comes back.
Guys, what do we think? Just changing the subject. Miles just put, thanks again, Miles, for joining. Really do appreciate all these familiar faces joining back. Saying bench is still a bit bare. We need more attacking options. Lucas is a good work ethic merchant. Do you guys think that Conte may not turn to the bench because he's not fully confident in what he has available still? Question for anyone. I'm throwing it out there.
I'll let someone else go. I've been speaking a lot since I've come on.
I don't know, really. It's a strange one. I just don't think Conte likes to make subs, really. I don't think it's the fact of him not trusting them, because I think he's worked out the ones that he can and the ones he can't. And I think they've already been shipped out. Talking about my boy Winks today. But what I'm saying is he has the team, the squad, I feel, maybe lacking the one like the Sonny that we're still holding out for, which will probably be next season. I think he's confident with the players he's got to call on. I mean, you talk about Lucas. Lots of people can't stand Lucas, but it's not just the players on the pitch. It's having a good energy in the squad itself. And Lucas brings that. I think that's something we all need to remember as well. It's not just how well they play on the pitch, it's what they do off the pitch as well. And I think Lucas is a great person to gel the squad together. So, yeah, I don't think it's Conte not feeling confident. I just don't think he likes to make subs at the minute.
I agree.
Absolutely. I just think
for me, I do agree with Holly, but I also think he's not quite content. I think defensively he doesn't want to make those changes. So for me, I'll be looking maybe Spence is an extremely fast player. He's very direct, and I think him on the right hand side would have added another option, another outlet potentially going forward. And I just feel like Conte doesn't quite have that trust in him at the minute defensively. And he was quite, I'm not going to say he was content with a draw, but there's worse results to be had, obviously. And I feel like to keep that unbeaten run and that high morale at the minute is quite important. And to concede a goal late last minute wouldn't have been ideal. And we wouldn't be sitting here in quite positive mood right now. So I can kind of see where Conte's coming from. If you looked at that bench today, we didn't really have too many people. You saw that when Højbjerg looked to be injured, he had Sarr or a half-injured Skip. So he was a bit like, I really want to keep him on. So I do feel like because of the injuries we've got with Bentancur having concussion and Lucas being injured, he's not quite, I think he's content, better than last season, but he hasn't got his perfect squad just yet, mainly due to the injuries.
Interesting. Guys, little note someone's just put above saying about like the video. There's like 30-something people in here. There's only 11 likes on the video. Surely everyone can smash a thumbs up supporting this channel.
That's insulting.
I didn't like to say it, Sean, but you're not a host on this channel, so you can say it's insulting. But I know I did feel a bit like that. My heart sunk a bit when I saw the 11 there. But anyway, we do really appreciate you guys joining. But let's smash the thumbs up, guys, and smash the subscribe if you are new, because we do want to keep pumping out this Spurs-related content to you guys. Kev's saying we were boring. Let's not dress it up in any other way. We're boring, Kev. I completely agree. It was absolutely abysmal. And I do want to get into maybe some player ratings with you guys as well. Pep used all 5 subs before the 75th minute. Not sure why to be fair, Archie, it was different. They won the game by 30-40 minutes in, so I guess that one's a little bit different.
You know what's even worse though is that not only do they have Haaland, who scored 9 goals in 5 games, they got Julian Alvarez, who they could bring off the bench, and he bags a brace as well.
Crazy, isn't it? That's absurd. Yeah, and he looks like a good player as well. From what I've seen,
he's a really good player. Really good player.
And he's young, so he's a player they're going to have for a while. So Man City just churn out just so much talent, and that squad he's doing is frightening. But you never know what can happen in the Premier League, so we'll see what happens, eh? It's a long season.
Right. Listen, guys, I think the next talking point is the ratings. Obviously, we said that we weren't too convinced with how we played. We weren't too happy. But if we can go through some ratings, I think it'd be good. And also, if you're in the chat, obviously, let us know as we go through the players. Say we go for Lloris, let us know if you think he was a 4, 5, 6. I don't think he's getting any higher than that today from what I saw with my own eyes. But let's go around the room. Jack, starting with you. What would you give Lloris today?
I think he's going to have I'm going to give him a 5 just because, like you say, his distribution was not there today, his composure. I think a 5 is a fair assessment.
Sean?
Yeah, he made a couple of good saves, didn't he, in the first half? Punching the ball away. I don't know what he keeps just punching the ball like when it could easily be caught. I'm not sure I like it. But I think that the good things he did were completely outdone by his poor distribution and his sloppy passing. So I'm going to give him a 5 as well.
Okay. We've got 5 4s in the chat from Kev, Carl, Jacob, Archie, Josh, and David's gone for a 2. David.
The people have spoken, surely.
Wow.
Holly, anything to add?
Not really. I think you pretty much summed it all up. Not great. Did a couple of saves when need be, but nothing spectacular. And like I say, that distribution was doing my night. So probably a 4 or 5 too.
4 or 5. There we go. Then I'm going to go to right wing back now, guys. Emerson Royale. I thought actually did very well defensively in his aerial presence and did a lot of decent clearances with by heading the ball out. I would probably go. It's difficult, isn't it? Because he wasn't incredible either. Maybe a 6. What do you think, Jack?
I'm going to meet you in the middle. I'm going to say 5.5, just because I feel like Spurs, especially on Twitter, we give him such a hard time. Like, I feel like everyone says how poor he is. Yes, he's definitely not the most talented player and someone I'd look to replace. But I just feel like he's someone who's willing to get on the ball. He doesn't shy away from it. He's quite direct and he's quite defensively sound. So for me, 5.5. I don't think he was the worst player on the pitch, and he's growing in confidence. So for me, 5.5.
Okay, Sean?
I was going to go for a 7. But now I feel like I'm being bullied in my own mind. Down to I thought he was the best player. Arguably, I thought between him and Perisic were the best 2 on the pitch. I thought in the first half he got forward. I remember him having like 2 successful dribbles. He won the vast majority of his ground duels, like any of his battles. I don't remember him giving the ball away. I thought he got forward. And in the second half, I thought he was one of the only players that was coming a little bit more narrow as well to get stuck into the game and help Bissouma out in the midfield. And he was winning the ball back. I think, for me, giving him a 5 or whatever is ridiculous, really harsh. I thought he was the better player on the pitch.
Really harsh, mate. Really harsh.
I'm going to give a 7, but look, I can tell that I'm going to. I don't want to be that dickhead who stands out on his own, waving a flag, saying, no, it was really good, if everyone doesn't agree. So I'll go wherever you want, but I think I would have given him a 7. If you'd asked me first, I definitely would have said 7.
The fact Carl thinks he's Spurs' best player today and he's gone for a 6 proves how shocking we were, to be honest with you. So I've gone 6, Jack's gone 5.5, Sean's gone 7. Holly, where are you going on this bar?
I'm probably going to go a 6.5 just because I saw a cross come in that wasn't on the floor and it actually nearly reached a Tottenham player's head.
No, it was
that 6.5.
That was a really good cross as well. We took it first time, didn't it? Yeah, really nice cross. There's no one on the end of it. You know?
I was very shocked, to be fair.
Cool. So then I guess we go inside to right centre back. Obviously, the man.
What did we land on as the average?
The average was probably 6.5, I guess.
Oh, okay.
I'll change mine to 6 to make it a 6.5.
No, Jack, stop manipulating.
I will,
because you're like the referee today. It's absolutely
rubber arm Jack. Okay, put it at 7.
I take my points. I won't say it's too bad.
We haven't even talked about the refereeing today. I mean, that first half was absolutely embarrassing. Like the whole thing took about 10 minutes. Wrong decision. But anyway, let's keep on the player ratings. Right centre back, Davinson Sanchez lost his clean sheet record now, but again, it could have been a lot worse. I'm going for, I don't know, because his distribution was awful. Like in terms of his passing, he just kept giving the ball away, kept booting out the pitch and going to no one. I'm giving him a 5.5. Oh, Sean's shaking his head.
Well,
If Jack's still with us, I'll let Jack go next.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was me, but no, I'm going to give him a 5.5 as well. Maybe it's a bit harsh again, Sean.
Sean, what are you thinking?
I'm going to do Sean like,
Go straight to Sean.
But I thought that Davinson Sanchez defensively was good, but playing out from the back, he just had not enough composure for me, and he could have been at fault for a goal. I don't know if you remember. They were pressing high, and I just feel like, 5.5, mainly because of his distribution.
We've overdone this. Like Archie's gone 3, Josh has gone 4, Bobby K's gone 5, Jake's gone 4.5, Kev's gone 4, and Sanchez 3 for Cole. Oh my goodness! What are you going for, Sean?
9 out. No, I'll go for a. I'll go for a 6. I didn't think he was bad.
No. What were you honestly going for? Because you raised your eyebrows at the 5.5. Were you going for a 7 or an 8?
No, definitely not. No, for me, Emerson or Perisic were the men of the match. But 6. If someone else went out with a 6.5 or something, I would have agreed. I thought he was good. Until only in the late second half. But I don't think he was personally responsible for most of those cock-ups that happened. You know, the goal that we conceded didn't happen down his side. Most of the time when, like Fornals broke through and stuff, most of the time it was happening down their right. It wasn't happening down their left. So, down their left. So I thought he was more solid than I guess other people, but.
Interesting. Holly, anything to add on this one?
Not really, apart from that clean sheet's gone now, so you can stop going on about that. So I'll go for a 5.
5, okay. I think the average is probably, judging by the chat, the average in the chat's about 4.
Yeah. Give him a 5,
but maybe from us, maybe a bit higher. I guess then we go centre back, Dyer. I mean, again, it is ball playing. To think that, we've got no ball playing centre backs other than Romero is, well, apparently Lenglet. We haven't seen much of him yet, but this guy can't pass, right? This guy cannot pass. Solid. Was he solid today? I don't even know. Like, the game was so bad. But I'm going to give Dyer it's just very average, isn't it? 5.5, 6.
Yeah, I'd actually give him a 6. I slightly disagree with Dyer's ball distribution because sometimes for me, Dyer, when he gets on the ball and he has a bit of space, he can
not sometimes. I'm talking tonight, Jack.
Okay, tonight, fair enough. I don't know if you said that. I think you said his ball distribution is not great. But anyway.
I think you should watch the game tonight and stop being on this free stream, mate. He cannot pass the ball. He's unbelievable.
Right. I think I'm going to give Dyer a 6. I think he's defensively solid. I think for me, he's still good enough to be in that starting spot. I don't think he was fantastic, but I think a 6 is a fair assessment.
We'll go with Holly next because Sean's probably going to give him a 9 or something ridiculous.
Wow. I don't know. It just infuriates me when he just decides to boot it up there tonight. It was just. I know he's looking for someone, but it's just random boots, and it just drives me nuts. I'd have to give him a 5 again. I think that's just my average score tonight.
Okay, Sean.
Yeah, I'll give him a 5. I didn't think he was very. I thought he was. For me, I thought he was the weakest of the 3.
Okay, so Ben Davies got a yellow card. Bit of a hefty challenge. Can't even remember who it was on. I think it might have even been the new guy, Paqueta. Could be wrong, but I'm going to kick things off. I'm going for, again, very similar to Dyer, isn't it? It's probably a 5.5
for Davies. Yeah, I agree. Would you say he was at fault for the goal? Him and Perisic, maybe lack of communication.
Potentially. I just think the whole back line was very shaky that second half. I'm surprised we didn't concede more. I really do.
I agree. I don't think. Yeah, we got away with a couple. Bowen in the last minute. Paqueta leaving the ball. Lack of commitment with Emerson. I just feel like we might have got away with one tonight. But you know what? We're riding our luck, and I'm sure once we get those better performances, it's going to change. But yeah, especially against West Ham, I'm glad they didn't get one on us.
Okay. Holly, what are you thinking for Ben Davies?
Probably, sound boring, probably middle of the road again with a 5. Like I say, maybe a little bit of switch off for those two down that side. But I think he worked okay with Perisic. I mean, Perisic is something different at the moment, but they seem to be working okay in attack. It's just defence. Again, it's going a bit pear-shaped. So, yeah, I'd probably go 5 again.
Definitely. I mean, Sean, surely you can't get as bad as what David's rating. He's going for 3.
I think he was saved, like what Holly said. I think he did look quite good going forward in the first half. But I've just looked at a stat, right? So Eric Dyer touched the ball 117 times in the game, right? Davinson Sanchez touched the ball 106 times in the game. How many times do you think Ben Davies touched the ball?
50.
Oh, you've gone hyperbolic. No, it's 67. But I was like, what's going on there? Like, why is he like 40% less touches than his two like counterparts? Especially when we had the ball in the first half, we were usually better going down the left-hand side. So I would have thought he was more involved. But defensively, I thought he was awful. All of West Ham's successes, or 90% of them, came down his side. He was one of the guys who fell asleep for the goal. And like Jack was saying, the Paqueta chance at the end when he left the ball, or both of them left the ball at the same. All of that stuff started down Ben Davies' side. So yeah, for me, it's like 4.5.
4.5. Wow, that's low. That is low. Okay, let's try and. I was going to say, let's try and get more positive now. But to be honest, Perisic isn't going to go much higher for me. I thought he was decent. We've been some good balls in the second half, but no one on the end of them, unfortunately. Perisic, I've seen some people say he was awful. I don't think that's fair. I think, listen, maybe he got done a couple of times, but going forward, he looks so sharp, even at his age of 33. People doubted him. Still lightning quick. I think he's going to be a top player for us. I think tonight, 6.5 for me.
Right. Well, my turn to be optimistic. For me, I thought Perisic was a class act. Every time he gets the ball, he's looking to take on his man. He uses both feet. His crossing ability is fantastic. And I think he just has that composure at the back as well, which the other defenders lack sometimes. So for me, he's going to get a 7. I think he was my standout player. I thought he was brilliant. I think he's going to be fantastic, especially at home with that crowd behind him. I can see him becoming a fan favourite.
There you go. A couple of people gone for 7s. Even David's gone for a 7, but then he's gone in our half 4.5. So a bit of a dampener at the end there, David. We'll get you optimistic soon. Miles has gone for 8 for Perisic. Carl's gone 8.
Big up, Carl.
Big up, Silver Surfer. Thanks for joining as well, mate. He's saying these performances are going to suffer more, I'm afraid. Archie's gone for a 7, and Bobby K's gone Perisic 6. His 5-second shutdown cost us the goal. What are your thoughts on it, Holly? Are you
defensively? But we've just slated the whole defence. None of them really offered anything going forward. So every time he goes forward, you know that a cross is going to come in. It's going to be very decent. And I haven't seen a cross like a player that can do that down the wing in a very, very long time. And it's so refreshing. I don't know, maybe it's because I've missed it. So now I'm overhyping it every time the ball comes into the box. But the way he takes on his man, does a couple of step overs, pings it in, or takes it right to the byline and swoops it in. I just think he's a class act. It's just annoying that the Spurs players or the attackers haven't really had that in a long time. So now they're not filling the box, which is really frustrating. But I'm going to go 7.5. I'm going to put it out there. I think the defensive things will come once we sort out the back line. Because like we said, they've been atrocious tonight.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I mean, I was thinking about it as you were saying that. Reguilon probably put in less crosses in 2 seasons than Perisic has already, I reckon. I want to see a stat on that, by the way, because I'm not going to sit here and talk down on Reguilon. Jack knows I'm not his biggest fan.
I could look that up right now if you want. I could find that very quickly.
Reguilon never put in a cross, like rarely.
No,
anyway.
First season, I'm going to disagree with that because do you not remember he had about 3? I remember the game against West Ham when we went 3-0 up. He put some perfect crosses to Kane at the back post. He's a player that needed time, and once they found that out and it was closed down, there was not many crosses. But that first season, I thought his crossing was pretty good, to be honest. So I don't think he was as bad as some people see him now, but I'm just sticking up for a bit for Reguilon because I don't think he was terrible.
Jack, you're the kind of person that would open up your GCSE results and be buzzing with a D or something. You're absolutely.
Do me a favour. Don't do Reguilon like that. He weren't terrible. When we brought him in, everyone was saying how quick he was, fantastic down the flanks. He wasn't shocking. Yes, Perisic is different level, but look, go back to watch some of those games. I promise you, he's crossing in certain moments. It was impressive.
Okay, well, let's tie this up with not Reguilon, Sean, but Perisic. What are you thinking?
I agree with everything that Holly said. I think he looks the mustard going forward, and I think that it's a shame, like Holly said, that the players aren't expecting the ball to come in. Otherwise, we could have had more conversion. But you have to knock him down. I would have given him an 8, but you have to knock him down a point because he did go to sleep for the goal, and it cost us ultimately. So yeah, I'll give him a 7.
Okay, 7. So that's our highest rating so far, right? So.
No.
Reggie shooting, he couldn't hit a cow's backside with a banjo. Jose burnt Reguilon, and the team aren't getting forward quick enough since Derek West Ham had crowded the box by the time Perisic crossed. I wish he scored. But we will speed up, and I think the extra games will actually improve us. Last season, Reguilon 560 cross attempts, 312 completed. Perisic so far 53 and 42. That is all you need to know.
Oh, has he done it? Has he done the work for me? I was looking it up. Oh, you git.
I don't know if he's actually done it. But listen, we'll quickly move things on. Midfield. I'm just conscious of the time. Midfield. Let's do it as a summary because it is the two Bissouma. Actually, let's do Bissouma first because a lot of people are talking down on him. Let's quickly go round just for the scores, and we'll try and summarize what we think on it. So I'm going to quickly go with Bissouma. He wasn't great today. He did lose the ball a number of times. Rice and Souček were all over him. I'm going to have to give him, I think, a 5, and that's being nice. Jack? Oh, I think we've lost Jack. Right, we'll go to Sean.
He's back. Who's that? Who, is it Bissouma? I'll give Bissouma a 4.5. I thought he was off the ball completely. It was such a disappointing debut, or full first start. Giving away the yellow card, I thought was just petulant, unnecessary. I know the referee was just a stupid. The referee can't have even been looking, and he just heard the crowd when he gave away the yellow card to Bissouma for the foul for the reaction to the foul that shouldn't have been. But yeah, generally speaking, I think Bissouma was well off the pace. I don't think he's been on the pace when I've seen him come on in previous games. So I thought that need to see more from the man.
Okay, lots of 5s, lots of 4.5s. 3 first half, 6 second half. Carl's going 5. Jack, are you with us?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I'm back. 5. A 5 for Bissouma for me. 5. Nothing too impressive, but I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I think he lost it because of that yellow card. He lost that aggressive side to him, and I think he was a bit hesitant to get us stuck in. So, yeah, I think a 5.
Okay, and Holly, finally, what would you give Bissouma on his debut? Like you said, people are in meltdown on social media. Were you not too upset about his performance?
It was disappointing, but again, I think we've kind of covered it. I just think he needs to bed in a bit more. I mean, a London derby in an atmosphere that obviously is in a Tottenham shirt rather than the Brighton shirt, I think is different in itself. So again, he still wasn't great though, so I'd have to give him the 5. Like you said, that's being nice. So
okay, lovely stuff. And Holly, I know you've got to go. I did say 30 minutes this one, but to be honest with you, we're enjoying doing the play rating, so we'll finish them off. But would you give anyone else a higher rating than what you gave? I think Perisic is the highest, or would you say he's Tottenham's man of the match?
Obviously, I think Kane and Kulusevski played well, but again, they weren't players that stood out. I think Perisic for me, I know we talk about obviously the defending and stuff, but he just gives something different down that wing, which we don't really have the other side. So I think Perisic would have been probably my highest scorer, if not Kane, just by maybe a 7 as well.
Okay, interesting, very interesting. Holly, thank you very much for joining us. This isn't the end of your video, guys, so don't all click off. But I'm just letting Holly plug her channel because she runs her own channel, great channel. Holly, where can people find you?
Before you check that, I want to say thank you for inviting me on. I've really enjoyed tonight, actually. It's really nice not being the host, so thank you. You can just find me at my channel, Holly Agenbar, basically, and I just kind of talk about the game after it's finished on a Monday at 7 o'clock. So, yeah, if you fancy that, please check it out. But before you do that, make sure you smash the like button and the subscribe button to these guys first.
Absolutely love it. So please do go, guys. There's like 30 of you. I'm sure there's a couple of you that aren't subbed. So please do go over there and hit the subscribe button on Holly Agenbar. Please do check the channel out. Thanks, Holly. Thanks so much. I'll let you crack on, and we'll get through these depressing player ratings. Right. So where were we now? So we were talking about Bissouma, but now obviously we've got to go to Højbjerg, who I thought was injured in the first half, but it was like his boot had come off. His boot had broken. What do you guys think about Højbjerg? I thought he worked hard, but wow, he looked slow. Where was that break going forward? He just got caught up so easily. Do you remember in the first half, guys? He just got absolutely outpaced. Højbjerg, listen, he works his socks off. I have you can't argue that. But was his quality up there today? Listen, he was battling against a good midfield in Souček and Rice. But what do you think? I'm going to go to you first, Sean, on Højbjerg. I'm giving him a 5.5, maybe a 6.
Yeah, I thought he was good. I generally thought he was pretty good in the first. I take your point about his lack of pace. I don't know if there was an injury or if he shook it off. He seems like such an absolute beast of a human being. Like he just doesn't want to ever come off. He plays through the pain. That tackle he looked like he rolled his ankle. Like if you watched it in slow-mo, it looked like his ankle got I wouldn't be surprised if it was really swollen or sore tomorrow. But he played it on. But I don't know if that disrupted him in the second half a little bit because he did look off the ball in the second half. Like I say, in the second half, the midfield was just overran and we couldn't win any of the second balls, and he had his part to play in that. So if he played through an injury, I'll give him a little bit of leniency. But generally speaking, I thought he was all right. I'll give him a 6.5. To be honest, I don't think he was up there with if I gave Emerson a 7 or 7.5, whatever it was I gave him, and the same for Perisic. I don't think I'll quite give him as high. So 6.5 is my reasoned score.
Yeah, maybe I'm feeling a bit harsh on 5.5. I might change it to a 6 because he wasn't that bad, was he? He wasn't.
Rubber arm James now. He changes it.
I knew that was going to come back. I knew that was coming back to me. Jack, what are you going for?
Yeah, no, I thought Højbjerg, for me, I think Højbjerg's massively be one of our standout players this season. Maybe that's crazy to say, but I think his passing ability has got a lot better. For me, he didn't get on the ball as much as I'd like to see today, but maybe he was carrying an injury. It looked like he wanted to come off at one stage, but like you said, James, it looked to be his football boot. But I think that would be a serious miss. If Højbjerg's injured for the next game and Bentancur's out, I think putting Skip injured and maybe a Bissouma who doesn't know the system that well could be a serious problem. So for me, I'm hoping Højbjerg's all right. And I thought he had a solid game. Let's be honest. I think he's the type of player you look to in big games like this. The London Derby, he's a leader. He keeps morale high. He works so hard, especially in that midfield. He's first man to always get to the ball. Yeah, I'm a fan of Højbjerg, especially recently.
Love it. So what was your final rating, sorry?
6. I'll give him a 6.
6. There we go. Kev's gone for a 5. Josh went for a 6. Carl went for a 6.5. He played 50 minutes on dodgy ankles. True. Great commitment. Højbjerg 7 with a twisted ankle. He looked better than 90% of the rest. Cool. So love how decisive you lads are. Listen. Cool. So that's the midfield, which again was fairly glum, to be honest with you. Let's review the front three now. Son. Where do I start? Again, obviously didn't get his goal, didn't get his assist, but it's just it's difficult because you can tell he's so frustrated, right? And even the admin tweeted saying he'd scored, and obviously it was an own goal, which is just salt in the wounds, really. For me, a lot of people are really hating on him and saying Richarlison should start the next game, but
he should.
Listen, no, I'm not saying Richarlison shouldn't start the next game. I'm just saying let's not forget how good Son's been. Like, it's 5 games he hasn't scored in. Okay, that's
it's not just about his scoring, mate. It's about his performances. Like that header today, when Sonny put him through, he looked like he had. I said it earlier, like a Toblerone forehead. You know, like he heads the ball here and it pops off this way. It was weird. You know, I feel like that's
a new one. I like
Yeah,
that.
his confidence is shot to shit. But keeping him in the team because he's a sensitive person, and you don't want to upset the guy. There's an impact to like dropping him. I get it, but there's also an impact to not having a meritocracy? What message does that send to Richarlison? What message does that send to Kulusevski getting taken off today for Sonny, when Kulusevski for me was like head and shoulders above Sonny? I think that there's other things to consider other than just Sonny's sensitivity.
Do you think that that's just to keep the squad happy, the morale up, and obviously Son's, if he got subbed then his morale goes even lower? Or do you think it's minutes, or do you think, like I said, it's to try and keep the squad happy? Because like you said, Kulusevski
I think it's to keep. Yeah, Kulusevski was miles better. Kulusevski was played really well, I thought. I thought that. I thought Son was clearly the worst of the three again. And I think that Conte took off Kulusevski as a token gesture to Sonny. And I think that's a really bad example to set.
Unless it's, I totally agree. I think that was the reason. But maybe he's trying to keep Kulusevski fit for the next game, as he knows that Son's probably dropped for Richarlison. A lot of games coming up. We've got the Champions League. So maybe Conte's that way. Because let's be honest, Conte is someone who... he's ruthless, isn't he? He will take players off if they're not doing well, and I doubt he'd change that just for Son. So for me, I think I'm a massive advocate of Son. I've got no doubt that he's going to be fantastic. But for now, as soon as Richarlison come on, that energy, that half turn, it was electric. It was like it changed straight, and he deserves a start. Let's be honest, he's got to play on Saturday. So for me, Son needs to just take a breather. He's going to rediscover that form, but he hasn't been up to the standard for the first couple of games. And I totally agree. It's not just the scoring, because he hasn't scored. It's his performances. He hasn't done enough with the ball. He's been lackluster. It's been a bit sloppy. And everyone else, Kane, Kulusevski, if they're not playing well, their hold-up play is brilliant. They're still looking creative, and Son hasn't got that right now. So I think if we're spending all that money on Richarlison, he deserves to be put in.
100%. 100%. Like everyone's panicking about buying Dan James or loaning Dan James or whatever. Like, what are we doing that for? If what we've seen so far is anything to go by, he won't play a single minute anyway unless there's an injury to Kulusevski. So, like, I think everyone needs to calm down a little bit on that as well. It's just to fill up the numbers, because I think that Conte's got his front three that he likes, and the only decision, if you buy a Dan James or loan a Dan James or whoever else, not that we're going down that path, but I just feel like there's a little bit of a track record that's being set here, and I think you'll see more of the same throughout the season. So,
okay, guys, we're going to move on.
Sorry, James. I was just going to say, do you think we need another forward on deadline day tomorrow? Do you think someone like Dan James should welcome him with open arms?
No, I don't want Dan James. It's
I'll take Adama Traore. I'll take Carrasco. I'll take someone like that. Someone really exciting.
I'll take Traore. Yeah, I don't agree. I mean, I don't agree.
I agree with Sean. He's another outlet. That pace, that directness. Just someone to come off the bench with 10 minutes to go, can play wing back if needed for a cheap price fee. I agree, because he terrorises defenders. He scored a fantastic goal a couple of weeks ago.
So what? He doesn't score or assist.
The indirect benefits of having him on the team. If you remember, look back to when we played Brighton at home last season, we lost 1-0. Brighton squeezed the life. They didn't do the high press. They didn't do the low block. They just squeezed the life out of the midfield, and they said, your wing backs are not going to be as good as ours, which were Lamptey and Cucurella. And Potter was absolutely right. And they just completely squeezed the life out of the game, and we couldn't find a breakdown. When we popped it wide, we did nothing with it. If you bring someone like Adama Traore on, that tactic for the opposition goes out of the window, because there's no chance in a million years anyone leaves Adama Traore with acres of space around him and one-on-one with anyone else. So I just think it's the indirect benefits of having Adama Traore on the pitch almost outweigh the direct benefits.
And I think it's because he's not going to be a player, like we say, Sean, who's going to start a week in, week out. He's not going to start in the Champions League. But if you've run out of options, you're playing a fantastic team like Man City or Real Madrid in the Champions League, he's another outlet. And once he gets on the pitch, he can run for ages. The guy's got baby oil because he gets dragged down by so many people. So four players just look after him. And imagine space Kane and Son or Kulusevski can have, he's just another option for
the guy is so fast. He's considering aerodynamics when he's getting ready for the game.
For a cut price of 20 million or under, for me, I'll be looking at his fantastic squad depth. So there you are.
I get him, and then if we need a centre back, I'll just out of curiosity, a lot of rumours about Harry Maguire. Is there any interest amongst you?
Well, we'll move straight on. That is absolutely ridiculous.
I think he'd be all right in a 3. I think he'd be all right in a 3.
I thought I was going to get crucified, but anyway, I'm not going to say Harry Maguire tonight. It's 1 o'clock here at Catalonia, and I'll probably be thinking, God, I'm going to get rinsed for years.
Where are you now?
I'm in Greece. So it's
You don't mind a holiday, do you, mate? Jesus,
oh,
God, you're on holiday all the time.
I haven't been away at all, but this year I've been lucky. I've been on a lads' holiday. I'm now in Greece with the family. So, but it's 1 o'clock here, Sean. The dedication to Spurs don't stop.
Listen, guys, I'm going to pull it back into the player ratings. We've got 2 more to do. Kulusevski, I think, Sean, you've already covered it. He was much better than Son. I thought he was one of our better players today. He does cause problems, especially first half. He's dribbling. It's hard to knock him off the ball as well. He's strong. I'm giving him a 7 today.
Same.
Jack? Yeah. I love Kulusevski. I think he's fantastic, and I think he's going to keep on improving his strength, his change of pace. He's rapid. Honestly, I didn't think he was that quick, but he's not rapid. He is rapid. He has got pace. I'm telling you. I'm not having it, mate. I'm not having it. Just because he's got long legs and he's tall, he's quick. I'm telling you, if you and Kulusevski have a race, he's absolutely rinsing you. He's fast. Yeah. I'm telling you, I like it. I think he's got everything.
The only thing he doesn't have is confidence on his right foot. When he picks the ball up and he moves towards the right, and if he picks the ball up and he's facing the goal and he happens to be dribbling to the right, you can see that he's desperate to try and find a way to get the ball, either to pass it or to move it back onto his left. And if he could just have more confidence in his right peg, I think he would be the complete forward, or could become a complete forward.
United Spurs of America, big yourself up, mate. He's saying first half of the game he looked quick, second half he lost that pace. Yeah, fair enough. Carl's saying Decky 7, we kept him on, we could have won. Dexky, I like that. Bobby K saying 7, 6.5 for United Spurs of America. Josh saying 6.5 to 7. Kulu 7 for David. David, are you sure you can do 7s? I love that, mate. That's a bit of positivity. I love that, mate. Kev saying 6. But jokes aside, let's move on to the final starter, which was Kane. I thought he was all right, but he also didn't do enough. Maybe his hold-up play wasn't as good as normal. I feel like he wasn't dropping as deep, as much as normal today as well. Maybe that was the tactic we played. Just didn't feel like he got in the game enough, because I think West Ham really did crowd that area, especially second half at the end. They really were playing for the point, West Ham. I know they nearly scored at the end, but it did look like they were holding off for a point, didn't it, really? I think both teams were condemned with a point in the end. But I'm going to go Kane, maybe 6.5. What do you think, guys?
6.
6.5 for me. I feel like he had a big chance at the end. Maybe it would have got pulled back for Richarlison, but I just wanted to see Harry Kane smash that in the back of the net. I thought, do you remember when Perisic went down the flanks and put in a perfect ball? I thought Harry Kane would be busting the gut to get in the box, but he waited around the edge and then the ball come to him and then he fluffed his shot. So for me, he wasn't that impressive tonight, but I'm sure he'll have a big game against Fulham.
Absolutely love it. And that concludes our starting 11. I do want to review a couple more players that came off the bench. Obviously, eventually when we did get players off the bench. Just want to say, Josh, thanks for joining for the whole stream, mate. Really do appreciate it. Nice to see you and see you in the next one. Absolutely. And guys, all the guys that have watched throughout the video, the likes of Bobby K, Carl, David, Kev G, SOF, United Spurs of America, Carl, you guys absolutely really do appreciate all the dedication, guys. So thank you so much for watching throughout. One more player, obviously, I did want to review was Richarlison when he came on. Now, what a bright spark he was when he came on. Really did change the complete complexity of the game when he came on. Absolutely fantastic. I am going to give Richarlison, obviously, he didn't play a full 90 minutes. He only played 20 minutes, but I'm still for his performance in the 20 minutes. He played like at a 7.5 for me, 7.5, maybe even an 8. Honestly, he was fantastic when he came on. So direct, running down that right wing was fantastic. What do you guys think? Anything to add?
You can't give someone an 8 if they've only played 15 minutes unless they've scored a goal or two or won the game. So, but
like I said, for those 20 minutes, I'm not saying for that. Yeah. Obviously, I know that a player rating is normally for 45, 50 minutes or more. But what I'm saying is, for when he came on, the impact he made off the bench,
it was good.
Was almost faultless. Like, it was brilliant, and he changed the dynamic of the game as soon as he came on. We were getting battered before that, Sean.
Yeah.
Absolutely bad. He came on, he changed it, and suddenly we were in their half. And you've got to say that is a lot, mostly down to Richarlison.
I agree. Yeah, sorry, Sean.
Jack.
I think Yeah, I keep saying it, but Richarlison just coming off the bench now, it shows the difference in squad depth straight away. That change of pace, someone who's willing to get stuck in as well. He works so hard off the ball. This is what Conte loves, and as a Spurs fan, I admire someone who wants to get in front of goal as much as they're willing to defend as well. That's just the perfect balance, and I think he's going to be a real star player for Spurs, and hopefully he can continue this form.
There you go. Cool. Any more we want to review? It's quite hard because obviously we brought him on so late. I mean, there's not really any other player you can review.
Who else came on?
No, there was definitely. Was there one more sub?
I didn't think there was there?
We left it so late. Oh my goodness, no. We only made one sub. I mean, that's a talking point of its own, but we won't get into that now. I mean, making one sub is interesting. Like I said, does that mean that Conte doesn't trust the bench? I mean, he had Doherty on there. Probably wouldn't have changed the game. Spence. To be honest, you look at the bench in terms of game changers in attack. Doherty obviously isn't. Fraser Forster isn't. Longley, Sarr, Sessegnon, Skip, Spence, Tanganga. None of them are forwards. We have no forward players on the bench right now other than Richarlison. Obviously, Lucas Moura is injured. Brian Hill's injured. Maybe we do need another forward, guys.
I think we're going to have to get one there. It's either Hill doesn't go or we get him one. And I think that's why me and Sean are saying Traore, just because I think he probably brings a bit more than Dan James due to his physical element as well.
Also, you can always play Perisic up front, don't forget, if you need to.
Yeah, true.
You know.
There we go. Yeah, that's true.
I want to see us go and get a centre-back. And if there is, I don't think anything's going to happen anyway, but I'd like us to go and get a centre-back.
Have you got one in mind?
Huh?
Have you got one in mind that you'd bring in? Someone you quite like?
No, I don't really. All the big names obviously have kind of moved or decided not to move at all. So it's frustrating. Like I think we spent too much time this summer resting our laurels on trying to get Bastoni and then settle for Longley and then just took our eye off the ball.
Can't believe Chelsea are getting him. Can't believe Chelsea are getting him.
I don't know if they are though. Are they? Like I think the last I heard, Leipzig said no, didn't they?
Did they? I heard that it's going to happen, but next year. So it's like a pre-agreement, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you know more than me, Sean. But 90 million euros as well for a player that's not going to join him straight away. That is absurd money. He's just chucking ridiculous money. Also, quick question before we finish. Do you think Chelsea are going to carry on in the bad form they are, or do you think they'll start to rediscover their form again? Because for me, without a striker, they haven't just got enough up front.
Yeah, I think that they'll be in the top 4 race. I don't think they're going to push on to threaten. No one's going to threaten Man City. I think Man City are going to get 100 points this year.
Man City have won the league in August. I'm not even joking. It's so done already. I'm sorry, it's done.
It is, yeah.
It's done. Yeah. No one's catching them. They're ridiculous. They're dispatching teams like Nottingham Forest, who are decent team to hard team to break down 5-0. I mean, 6-0 was it? I mean, it's an absolute joke. 6-0. I mean,
and Liverpool getting that last minute winner again tonight in the 98th minute. I fucking hate them. I hate them so much.
We're going to end it right here, guys, before Sean goes off on Liverpool. But before we do end things, guys, please do smash a like button on this video. I really enjoyed this one tonight, actually. Although it wasn't the best game to talk about, it was great having guests on of Sean and, of course, Holly, who joined us earlier. So please do check out their channels. Holly Agomba for Hollies. And Sean, I'll let you plug your one as well. I'm sure a lot of people already subscribe to you, mate. Your channel's absolutely smashing it. But if there is a few people in the chat that could go over to Spurs Talk Show, Sean, where exactly do we find you?
Spurs Talk Show. Yeah, all one word. On Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter, but mainly YouTube. So yeah, just Spurs Talk Show, all one word. # no spaces. And that's where you can find me.
# game day. And very close to 3K over there, I believe, Sean, right?
Yeah, 29.12 or something. So I've got like 88 to make or something. So yeah, I'd like to get that done before.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
Before September ends, that'll be sweet. Yeah,
absolutely crazy. Sean,
we got some work to do, James. We got to keep it up, mate. We need to get back on. Get these views up.
Jack, have you got like a cat or something you can walk? We can try and do like a walk the cat series or something. Like we've got to get off this hype.
A gerbil called Spurs.
Yeah. Cool. United Spurs America, you got to get me on a show something. Definitely, mate. Definitely sounds good. But listen, guys, like I said, smash a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and we'll be back with more content throughout the week. As always, guys, you know the score. Go on.
all the Spurs related balls in here. We haven't done the best with content recently, but I told you it's coming back. So we've got a Champions League vlog coming out next week, and Tottenham away at Man City. I've secured a ticket today, so there's some exciting content for you to watch. I told James. So
Tottenham
I've
away
managed
at
to
Man City.
Yeah, and I'm going to the Champions League game Wednesday, going straight from work because I've got to get that content out for you. And
this guy doesn't stop. He's out in Ibiza, then he's out in Greece. He's flying home. He's going to the Fulham game.
It's got Rattling. And I'm sure, James, I haven't even told you, but hopefully we can get another result at the Etihad and Champions League nights back at the Lane. I'm so excited. It's going to be a good week, I hope. Fingers crossed.
How are you getting tickets? How do you get that ticket?
So I've got a friend that manages to get away tickets, and I'm lucky enough to have a season ticket, which I've had since I was young. So I've got the Champions League seat. So just luck of the draw, really.
All right, there you go, guys. There you go.
Luck of
Bit
the
of
draw.
Burford hype as well. So, guys, there's 3 things to do before you do leave. 3 things to do.
I weren't sponsored.
Nope.
Well, there's 4 things to do. Jack's going to get better Wi-Fi. You're going to smash the like button, subscribe if you're new, and also check Jack's private bank accounts offshore, because apparently he's a £100,000 millionaire. He's got all this money coming out of it everywhere.
It's really not. Don't say that.
Right, guys, we're going to end things up there. Thanks for watching.
It's really not.
Come on, you Spurs.
Bye.
Come on.